Oh man, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Car Chase Scene. I'm Brendan Welch, and this is Quincy. And we are on our way to go see The Lion King. We got front row seats because I'm dumb and got them yesterday. Yep. So we're gonna break our necks watching it, but we're in Mills, so we can like lean back, you know.
It's all plushy.
Good. Yep.
Real fancy.
Amen to that, man. So to go ahead and get our movie brains going. Well, we were going to do reflections, but it's been like months since I've done these, so there's no reflections necessary. Because the last thing I saw was Pokemon. It was just great. So.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it.
It's good.
Yeah.
You're going to like it.
I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he sells the whole movie.
Well.
Best part.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get.
I feel like that's like right in his lane too, because like.
It is.
He crushed it as Deadpool, like.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is, it's funny watching that and then like hearing Deadpool. Like,
yeah.
He like when Pikachu says like a minor swear word and it's like hysterical because it's freaking Pikachu. Like, why are they? It is so funny.
The parallels.
Oh,
We'd
exactly.
have to do that as a podcast. The parallels between Pikachu and Deadpool.
Oh, there are many parallels. He's really good, and he like appears in person in the movie too, which is like
that's so weird.
Yeah, once you see it, you'll know why. But to get the movie brain going, let's figure out what your favorite movie is and why it happens to be your favorite movie.
So, this is always a tough question for me. My favorite movie is a Goofy movie.
That's
it's always like
1A,
1B because I get so much slander.
Yeah.
But a Goofy movie is 1A.
Yes.
And then Pearl Harbor is 1B.
Okay. Yeah. Those are both great.
Yeah, I would say a Goofy movie with a slight edge.
Yeah. Goofy movie's great. Like, so it was funny actually. Me and John Wainwright were having a conversation about Father's Day movies, and we're like, "There's movies for like every holiday, but like, there's no Father's Day, Mother's Day movies." And then we're like, "Okay, Nemo and a Goofy movie, and that's like it."
and they're
good dad movies.
Exactly, but it all like has to do with like the kid having some sort of like hate towards their dad.
Goofy's Goofy's wife is dead.
Yeah,
like, that's the plot of the movie. Like, she died. That's like not Disney-esque at all.
It's so dark. Actually,
it's a good
when you think
movie.
about it.
Yeah, it is really dark. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
good answer. I was not expecting that. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Oh man, that's awesome. So another question for you. We're going to see Lion King. You don't like the Lion King.
I don't.
Why do you not like the Lion King?
I feel like it's just supremely overhyped.
I understand.
There's a couple of things that I don't like.
All right.
One, to me, besides like the hype around it, is I hate that they had two young Simbas.
Okay.
So they had Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who like in the 90s was like. He was like Justin Bieber in the 90s. Like he was like the cutest thing on earth.
Gotcha.
And then they had like a singing Simba, and that was Jason Weaver.
Oh, different voice?
I didn't know voice.
This. Huh.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you're gonna have like a musical movie, you either have the voice actors sing or you have the singers act.
Exactly.
One of the two for me.
I agree. That's why Greatest Showman's so good, because they all have voices.
Absolutely. And it's like that, and then you get a little deeper into this whole conspiracy about Kimba the White Lion. So
Kimba the White Lion.
Kimba the White Lion.
I don't know about this either.
So it was a Japanese film.
Okay.
That came out like I believe like 60s or 70s.
Gotcha.
And it's legit
the same movie.
The same thing.
No.
And apparently, like Walt Disney, or Disney, is known for doing this, like ripping off other movies. Or
well, I mean, he did the whole Grimm's fairy tale thing. Literally, just copied fairy tales, and like people loved it because there was like the Grimm brothers been dead for now.
Exactly. So like they're not gonna fight back.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna pop up out of the grave and like, you owe me monies.
Exactly.
Give me monies. They're not gonna do that.
Exactly.
So like I got to that, and I was like, ooh, come on.
Now I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
Kimba the White Lion. I think it was like BuzzFeed or like HuffPost put out like a video talking about it, and like I just kept digging deeper into it, and I was like, there's just too many like.
It's rotten.
Like even like the names are like slightly off, like Kimba, Simba. There's like
that was the biggest thing that I was thinking.
There's like the bird is like, I think the bird has a really close name to like
Zazu and like Kazu or something.
It's like something
Bazu.
very close, and I'm like, ooh, come on.
Eesh.
Come on. That's like Dr. Pepper and then Dr. Thunder. It's like,
yeah, it's the same thing. We all know what's happening here.
Yeah, exactly. So
dang, see, I didn't know all this stuff. That's depressing. Because whenever I watch The Lion King, like I'm 4 years old, just like loving life, and it came out before I was even born. So I mean, I was just like,
and it's a feel good. It's supposed to be a feel good movie.
Yeah.
And I would say that to me, like the plot is very like anticlimactic.
I was gonna say I'm very critical of feel good movies. I give nobody gets a free pass.
No, absolutely
no
not.
free passes. So like this, like it could be a feel good movie, but it's also got to be good.
Yeah.
And from what I remember and I mean I haven't seen it super recently. This is the right road.
Yeah,
it's the right road. I haven't seen it super recently, but whenever I did watch it, I remember seeing some scenes in it. And then knowing they're going to make a live action version of it and being like, how in the heck are they going to make this A, any better, or B, as good as this? But then also just like the bare bones of the structure, like the plot structure, I can agree with you. It's a lot of just kind of up and then a little down, a little up. It's like very mindful.
Yeah. And for me, like, I don't gravitate to movies like that. It's like, there's no real twist. There's no...
Yeah, you're right. And that's one thing that really gets to me about kids' movies is their inability to execute a plot twist.
Absolutely.
There's legitimately no plot twist in this whole movie. Thinking about it, like, there's no identity reveal. There's no, wait, Simba's dead the whole time? Like, no. It's just, or, like, it's like a Spider-Man movie where we know the villain's identity the whole time. It's, like, the best way to describe
Absolutely.
it.
And it's like, and, I don't hate... Because I don't hate kids' movies.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's like, there's a lot of, like, kids' movies that just go...
Above and beyond.
Like...
Toy Story,
The Incredibles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go above and
Incredibles.
beyond. Oh, my gosh. I watched Incredibles 2 for the first time with my little nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, like, running around. Like, I was like, yo, get the baby. I'm trying to watch this movie. I'm trying to watch the movie.
That's awesome.
And, I try not, because I know plot twists are going to go, like, over a kid's head.
Yes.
Like, I'm not that, like, out of touch, but it's like...
Exactly. But other movies get away with it. That's the thing,
Yeah.
is, like, Toy Story, I guess, is a bad example, because I can't think of the twist in there. I'm sure there is one. But Incredibles, it slowly turns, at least symbolically, it slowly turns from a hero fighting a villain to hero trying to keep his family together. Like, that's the only
Absolutely.
goal. And what's great is there's like the line near the end of the movie whenever they're trying to take down the robot that's in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, the only thing strong enough to destroy it is itself.
Yeah.
And that robot is literally a symbol for the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't be stopped unless you're fighting each other.
Absolutely.
And so whenever he realizes, everybody who's in this world is acting like this right now, and everybody can be stopped by only themselves, that's whenever
Absolutely.
they start winning. And not only do they win that fight, they also win the fight with their family, and they get a house, and they start to settle down. And so Lion King, you look at that, and Hakuna Matata plays, and you're like, well, they were all happy.
Exactly. It's like, it needs to, where you can't add a twist or a turn, there needs to be layers. Something you can peel back. And for me, Lion King doesn't do it for me.
No layers.
But I get so much hate. Like, people are like, you're a demon for not liking Lion King. And I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
they condemn it. I condemned it the first time you told me. I myself probably called you a communist or something.
Definitely.
Probably happened.
Right along that line. Something like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, what I agree with you about is it's simple.
Yeah.
Like, this is a simple movie, which is why I kind of have hope for a remake being better.
Yeah.
Because it's good in the nostalgia sense. I think this movie can be good in both the nostalgia sense and actually be good.
Yeah.
Because did you see Aladdin?
I did not.
Okay, so Aladdin...
I've never seen the
really?
cartoon Aladdin.
You really need to watch that. It's a great movie.
There's a lot of, like...
The cartoon Aladdin, I think that's a good, like...
It's a whole nother story for another day.
Whole
I'm not a
story.
Robin Williams fan.
Exactly. Oh, you're not a Robin Williams?
Rest in peace to him. But,
rest in peace indeed.
I'm not a big Robin Williams fan.
Gotcha.
Not my
You might not like this then.
Not my type of humor.
Well, you might like Will Smith.
Nope.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Don't like Will Smith.
In that case, don't watch Aladdin. It's okay. You can just leave Aladdin aside. But this Aladdin was pretty good. It was neat because what they did to it is I felt like Disney over their last couple of live action remakes has just been going for we need more money.
Yeah.
And so, but with Aladdin, they added a whole new arc with Jasmine wanting to be the Sultan. Whoa. And so that was like, it was like their like women's rights play, like jumping on that too, and like it worked. It was good. And then in addition to that, like the musical performances were great. What was kind of disappointing is all of the extras were white. That was depressing. But it was a big miss. Other than that, though, like it wasn't a bad movie.
It's so crazy too because, like you said, like there's all these different plays, and like obviously, like you hope that they're like being righteous in their bringing up of like some of these issues, but we know it's like a money grab.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one thing that doesn't get enough, I guess, like shine is like representation, and it's so important.
It is.
Especially when you're dealing with like a culture that's, you know, so far, like, you know, Mulan, like it has to have, you know, people like people from China, or you know, it just needs to be, you
Absolutely.
know, like there was a movie, was it called Gods of Egypt or something like that came out a couple years ago?
Oh yeah.
With I think Gerard Butler is in it.
I was about to say I don't remember the cast for it, but it was really bad.
They looked like young Donald Trumps. They were just like
the whole time.
Really orange, like
orange white people. That's all it was. They were Oompa Loompas. There were no Egyptians.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I'm like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's really important. It's like representation.
I agree with that too.
So I agree with you, and I'm sure when I see the movie, I'll be really critical of it.
Oh yeah, I'm planning to be extremely critical. And then, like, as far as mechanics are concerned, do you know who the director of this movie is?
Yes.
Jon Favreau.
Yes.
I didn't know this until I looked it up, like, a couple hours ago, and I was like, Jon Favreau?
I love Jon Favreau, too.
He's a good actor.
Absolutely.
Have you seen Chef?
I did not see Chef.
So that's the movie that he produced and starred in, and apparently it's really good. I was looking at him on IMDb and looking at all his credits and stuff, and I mean, it looked pretty good, and, like, I really liked him in Spider-Man.
Yep.
I really liked him in Iron Man. I really liked him in all the MCU movies.
Yep. I liked him in The Replacements as Danny Bateman. Crushed it.
He's funny too.
Yeah.
And that's what gives me hope for this movie. Is I'm hoping, like, it's like if you remember that movie that Will Ferrell directed, or that he might have wrote it and was in it. It was the one where he's in a book, and the author's like writing, or he's like the author. It's I can't remember. I'm a little fuzzy.
Stranger Than Fiction or something.
I think it is Stranger Than Fiction. Something than fiction.
Yeah.
But he's and so like that kind of thing. How it's funny because the person who like wrote it is already, you know, implicitly funny and like knows how to act.
Yeah.
And is able to write a script that is conducive to that. So I really think that's gonna carry over.
Yeah.
And then cast list. Yeah, Beyonce and James Earl Jones and Donald Glover.
Hard to go wrong. Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
I mean, who's Scar's voice. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Chiwetel is his first name. I'm pretty
Close
sure.
enough, right?
Exactly. Everybody. It's so funny. I wish everybody's name was Benedict Cumberbatch, because no matter how you say it wrong, everyone knows what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Like, it's great.
The stale-faced guy.
For sure. For sure. Oh, man. All right, so before we go inside, we gotta do hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
So what's gonna make your dreams come true with this movie? What could it possibly do?
Honestly, I hope that they really use Seth Rogen to his full potential.
Absolutely. Me too.
Like, Donald Glover, like, is gonna deliver. Beyonce is...
Yeah.
Like, those people... Like,
They're
James Earl
givens.
Jones, like, they're givens. They're not gonna screw this up.
They can only disappoint. They cannot exceed expectations.
Absolutely. So, it's like, I want them to use, like, these background characters, like Seth Rogen... to
make
this
Zombie
full
hysterical.
Exactly. Make them funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the more humorous this is, the more digestible it's going to be. Because I mean, we've already seen the original. Mm-hmm. They're not going to break from the plot. That's the tough thing with remakes. Is like,
that's my big thing. Is I hope they take risks here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any risk they can take, I'm going to be happy with. Mine's that they rap remix. I just can't wait to be king with Childish Gambino. And I told Jalen somebody we know, and he said, like, what if they did, like, the This Is America dance? But, like, the lion, like, stands up and, like, doing the weird, like...
Oh, my
so
gosh.
Weird. Oh, man. I'm excited. This could be really good or really
This is
bad.
the Shadowland.
These are the Pride Lands.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. All right, this ought to be good. But we're going to head inside, but we'll let you all know what we thought about it. So
Absolutely.
See you on the other side. All right, well, that was, we watched Lion King.
Yeah.
So, we agreed that we could talk about this movie for about 5 seconds without spoiling it. So here we go. All right.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, yeah, get over it. It's Lion King. It's 1990s. Come on, y'all. 1994. Oh man. Let's get on the road.
Oh man.
No, I'm switching to mood lighting.
Oh right.
There we
yeah.
go.
Oh man.
Candle
Love
lit.
it. Love it.
Oh man,
Love it.
This is some dinner lighting.
Oh
So,
man.
I mean, I guess we could just rate it out of 10 and then we'll break it down. This is gonna be pretty straightforward. What do you think? Out of 10.
Out of 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as how I wasn't the biggest fan of the animated one,
Yes.
I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7 and maybe a 7.5.
Swimming in sevens. I love it.
Yes, and here's why. It is probably one of the most visually stunning movies.
Oh, it was beautiful.
You will watch, especially with CGI. That can go very wrong.
Yes, it really could. It could have looked like bad sci-fi.
It could have looked horrible.
And
like
it didn't.
It could have looked like Planet of the Apes, and it worked.
Yeah, it did.
It worked great.
I agree with that 100%.
But there are so many bad, like the script, like the script was very choppy in parts.
It was. I feel like it had moments where
Yeah.
it was good, but those were just so overshadowed
Yeah,
by how bad it got.
yeah.
Also, there was a lot of throwaway shots that got on my nerves. It was very fillery,
It's
you know?
like, why is this here?
Exactly. It's like there was one random one where they're like when they're like walking around in the beginning whenever it's him and his dad on patrol, and then it like the camera, you see them walk away and then it cuts to like a pool of water being splashed and then it like immediate pans up like,
For
why?
no reason, exactly.
And some of them were like to establish like the tone of the scene and stuff,
Yeah.
and it would like be peaceful, and that one just wasn't.
Yeah, like
A bunch of stuff like that.
I loved a lot of the shots that they did use, but there were just so many pointless ones.
And they tried to recreate they almost to a T recreated the Mufasa dying shot.
Yeah.
And it was like, this doesn't look good live action. It didn't look good animated.
No.
Like the slow zoom out from him going, no! Yep. And then they played it again in slower than already slow motion.
That was so,
That's
and like I feel like
atrocious.
that was a missed opportunity
It was.
for that scene specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because
Reimagine it.
like I like that there was the line where like Scar was like, that's the same look that your father had, like,
Yeah.
or like they could have like panned in on his eye or something, like
Anything.
and seen like the reflection of like Mufasa,
Yeah.
something, like do something different.
Exactly. Also, I think that scene was really rushed because
Yeah.
he's hanging off the edge, and they're like, "You're a liar," and then they're all against him for like 5 seconds. That was not used at all. It's not like they were like, "Simba, is that true?" None of that happened.
Nope.
They didn't even have time to say that before Simba got back up. And was like, "Wait, no, he's lying."
Exactly.
They
They didn't let like tension build.
I think that was my biggest problem with the end of the movie, is it was rushed.
Yeah.
I think if they would have taken their time, it could have been better. I gave it a 6, I think. I think
Ooh.
it's a 6.
Ooh.
It's not, so here's the thing. 7s, right? It's like, I had fun with the 7. You know what I mean? It's like, went out to dinner, you know, it was fine. Like, we had an okay date night, right? Is a 7.
Yeah.
But like a 6, I didn't have a great time with a 6. We like no chemistry there. you
Yeah.
know?
It's like bad conversation.
Yeah, bad conversation.
You know, it's
I mean,
like how's
she
your
had
day?
she had this Twitch thing going on. I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it. So we're gonna go 6.
But yeah, I could definitely see 6.
Mm.
you're a little harsher than me, which is actually kind of funny.
I was about to say, I figured you'd be like 3. Just walk out of the theater. But it was funny. I think that was the biggest strength to it.
Yeah.
Was how funny it was. There were a lot of like really on point jokes. I think my favorite one was the Beauty and the Beast joke.
Gosh.
With Timon. That was so funny.
As soon as I heard a French accent,
I
knew
in my heart
that was where they were going with it. It
good.
was so. As soon as they started delivering it,
and then they like ran up on him and they
died.
screamed. Yeah, it was great. And they like cut it off really quick.
Yes,
too.
it didn't linger.
It was.
They
good.
captured the moment, and then they were like on to the next scene.
Yes, and that was flawlessly executed.
Yes.
I think I went too far. I know we're good. But yeah, that's like the. I think that was the movie's biggest strength, was that they didn't slouch on the humor.
Absolutely.
They weren't afraid to make jokes pretty consistently.
Yeah.
And Seth Rogen was funny.
And I love. They almost broke the fourth wall.
Oh, whenever they were like, the people usually have a bigger reaction.
Yeah.
They usually like clap a lot. Like 3 people clap at the back. Of the
Yeah,
theater.
it was like they almost like weren't afraid to like make fun of themselves. Like they were like parodying themselves.
Yeah,
like,
and the scene whenever the Hakuna Matata part at the end of it was like, you've gained 400 pounds since we started the song. It's like
that's great.
That was really good.
He's like, oh, he's riffing now. Like that's so great. And I'm not disappointed by how they use Seth Rogen.
Me neither. He was funny.
It was awesome. And now that like I'm older, I can look at like things from a different lens. I enjoyed that better than I enjoyed
The original.
the animated one.
That's good.
And I mean, like we said before, Beyonce was Beyonce.
Yeah, she did good.
She like there was even an
added
added
that song.
Oh my god, it was
good.
incredible, incredible, and it like around that time, like I leaned over and I was like, "There's like some really like crazy lines that you can kind of like draw out of this. Like, there's a lot that you can pull out of this."
Yeah,
like,
there was some. I think one of the most symbolic shots whenever Scar falls off near the end. And he's down at the bottom, and you see him getting like bitten on, and the camera like slow pans up past it, like and like there's fire coming up and screaming and craziness.
It's nuts.
Yeah, there are definite like theological parallels I think you can make too. And as far as themes go, the whole circle versus line. So is it a circle of life, or is life just meaningless?
Exactly.
And like, are we all connected or not?
Exactly. And it's like you see almost like if you're drawing that like comparison, or like you have at the beginning like Mufasa like that would be like maybe your Christian perspective or whatever, and then you have Timon and Pumbaa, who are like, life is just, you do what you want and then you die. So that's like, that might be your like non-believing or like your atheistic perspective maybe. And then after Mufasa's death, like you have Simba right in the middle, and he's like, I don't really know. So that's like you're agnostic or like you're undecided. So it's like there's so many like layers, and I think that made me enjoy it
for sure.
But like that wasn't necessarily the focal point.
Yeah, it didn't overstay its welcome.
Absolutely.
And that's like something that I feel like a lot of movies now are doing well. Is they're finding ways to incorporate things subtly. And I think this movie did a great job of like the little bit of subtlety that I had in there. I also really enjoyed the scenes that were used to show the circle versus the line. There was that one scene where his fur falls off, and at the end of the scene, complete BS.
Yeah, right.
That was my I call BS moment, because it's like some fur falls off of Simba, and so right before this scene happens, Timon and Pumbaa are like, "No, life's a line. It's not a circle. It goes straight forward, and then you hit the end of it, and you're done." And like, we're not connected. And then his hair, or some of Simba's hair, falls off and like flies away in the wind, and he's like starting to believe, okay, this is who I am. This is how my life is now. So the fur goes, and what is it? It's like it lands on the ground, and like this rat thing sees it, and then a bird gets it and puts it in the nest, and then a giraffe eats it, and then slow fade to black, fade back up. It's a dung beetle rolling poop with it in it, and then like the poop breaks because the dung beetle falls off a cliff. Yeah. And then the wind blows and picks it up, and it goes on a rock
limb or something. Yeah, like
an ant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it gets to Rafiki. And then he goes, Simba's alive. I'm like, what? BS.
That's man. Okay, so Rafiki is an interesting character.
I like Rafiki.
Yeah,
he's wild.
Very like wise, but almost like the creepy old man that
really
like
is.
Screams on the street. It's like the world is coming to the end.
Yeah,
but like, like you're like, man, this dude's like crazy.
But he's
and
kind
then
of
like,
right.
but you're like, you start like, the more you like start listening to like some of the stuff he says, he's like, man, how off is he?
Onto something.
Yeah, maybe he's on to something, bro. Like all these like unorthodox things that like give him these messages, you know.
Like the bugs on the tree. He like blows the sand on them, and then like removes the bugs, and it's a shape, and he's like, oh, it's a lion, and then like paints the face on
That's
it.
nuts, man.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
They cut a lot of him from the movie though, because remember what was the whole look beyond what you see, and then Timon and Pumbaa like go chasing after Simba, and the mom's like, oh, it's a metaphor. Oh, Tommy, they sent him after a metaphor, and like all this stuff. They completely removed it.
I would have liked for them to have utilized Rafiki more.
Yeah. I would have liked for them to utilize basically any character other than Simba a little more. I feel like Timon and Pumbaa didn't have as much, like realize their full potential as how they were written. Because I mean, they were solid characters.
Absolutely. But like, I think that even in the minimal sense that they used Timon and Pumbaa, like, it was perfect. Like, because every single time, like, their lines were like delivered so great.
They really were.
They were funny.
They really
like,
were.
I would have liked a little bit more tension that way. Like, their lines would have been like
more meaningful.
More meaningful. Would have been funnier, more memorable. Like, sometimes they were just like, it was like funny for no reason, but it was still funny.
Yeah.
So
it didn't quite hit the Dumb and Dumber level of like ridiculous humor.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was still on point.
King, I think you got your lions crossed, lady.
Yeah, and then he goes, nice. Like, whenever Seth Rogen said nice, I lost it. Because
Love it, yeah.
I don't think it would have been as funny if he didn't. And, like, there's some jokes where it's like, they make the joke, and then people in the movie laugh about it, and you're like, well, now it's not funny. But in that case, it worked really well. Perfect, that's a hope and dream, right? For you.
I think they met my expectations.
That's good.
Like, they didn't exceed it, but, like, I wasn't, like, disappointed. Like, I think it was just the right amount, and it worked.
That's good. My hopes and dreams were not met.
At all.
I Just Can't Wait to Be King was not rap remix. Donald Glover was not even Simba yet by that point.
I know, right?
It was some kid. It might have been Donald Glover with like some voice thing. I don't know. But
now, I did love what they did with Be Prepared, though.
Yeah, Be Prepared was good.
Like, they like changed it a little bit, and like I always felt like in the animated movie Be Prepared was too freaking long. It felt like the longest song of the movie,
and it's quite honestly the worst song in the movie.
I think so too.
It doesn't need that much time, you know, and they knew that, but they knew people would be mad if they didn't put it in.
Absolutely.
And so they straddled the line really well. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
I would say solid 6. 6-7, average 6.5.
6.5 works perfect. Yeah,
that's great. So I guess worth watching. If you have kids, go watch it.
Yeah, they're gonna want to watch it. I think if you're born in, you know, any time in the last, like, I don't know, like 90s all the way up to like 2005. Yeah, like, yeah. If you weren't born in the last 15 years, you're gonna want to see it because that was like a part of your childhood at some point.
I saw this the other day. I think it was on Twitter or something, but somebody said, man, isn't it weird that like one day our kids are gonna grow up and find the old Lion King, be like, what is this weird anime weird Lion King?
Exactly. Like, this is gross.
Exactly. It's like Beyonce's done it, but yeah.
They might, well, no, they're not gonna ask who Beyonce is.
Oh man. Gosh.
If kids today know who Whitney Houston is, they're definitely gonna know who Beyonce is.
You're
so
right. There's hope.
Let me shut up.
Oh man, well thank you for going to watch it.
That was great. I freaking had a ball, man.
It was too fun.
Had a ball.
Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time. Car chase scene. Peace.